Oh, I meant to do this last night and didn't have time to do it. Did that other video. So now this is the top 10 movies. My top 10 favorite movies of 2010. And I got a big old stack of fucking... This is the honorable mentions. So we'll start off with, and right away this is gonna piss people off, Logan. I can only put one film from each franchise in here. And I have my XMen franchise film in here. But Logan, very good film. Just the one I picked for my top 10, I have a little more fun with. It's a little more, fun sort of movie. So, yeah. Mad Max Fury Road. Very good film. I've only seen it once, actually. So I can't really put it in my favorites, but it is very good. Deadpool 2, not as good as the first one, but still pretty good. Pacific Rim, I think is a step up from the first one. Better characters, more action, very good. X-Men Days of Future Past. Good film. One from this year, Art of Racing in the Rain. Almost put it in my top 10. It's a very good film. Made me cry. When a movie makes me cry, as you'll see, there's another movie in my top 10 that when it makes me cry, it deserves to be in my top 10. This could be considered number 11, if anything. Now we get to the MCU movies. It's a rapid fire. Spider-Man Far From Home. Captain America Civil War. Guardians of the Galaxy. Doctor Strange. Avengers Infinity War and Endgame. Have my MCU film in there. I think. Yes. Black Panther and Thor Ragnarok. You have the Lego movie. I really enjoyed this movie. It's very good. Goosebumps. The Expendables. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Furious 7. Entourage. You know how much I like that TV show. I have the complete series. I like the movie too. Inception. Very good film. Kick-Ass. Kong Skull Island. Escape Plan. And then these are the DCEU movies. Batman v Superman. Suicide Squad. Wonder Woman. Aquaman. Shazam. The only one I didn't put in there is Justice League because that's the only one that I'm really iffy on. Now we got our top 10. And yes, I have one DCE movie. So, number 10, movie that came out this year, and that was far better than the first film. Better action, even some better characters, even though I made some questionable decisions. Then you were written a little bit better. And that's Godzilla King of the Monsters. I think it was a step up from 2014. Had more monster fights. Even though they still focused on the human drama. But even older Godzilla movies focused on human drama. So people can't really bitch about it. So yeah, very good film. It's also going to be in my list, of course, I'm going to do later today. I'm going to rank all the movies that came out this year that I watched. So there might be some that's missing. But I only saw, what I wanted to see. Number 10. I mentioned about a movie making me cry, and that's Toy Story 3. For me, this came full circle because I grew up with the first movie and the second one. And this was Andy going off to college. Andy's like 2 years older than I am, and so the timelines don't really match up. But, for me, I got the feels because this was me. Andy having to grow up, give his toys up, and just, it was me. So yes, I cry at the end every time. I like Toy Story 4, don't get me wrong. But, this is the one that made me cry. I cried at the end of Toy Story 4 too, but it's not as, this made me cry first. So, number 9, Toy Story 3. Ruined it. Number 8, John Wick. I like all 3 of these movies. This is the first one. It's a really good movie. I watched this the most. Very good film. Very good action film. Return to form for Keanu Reeves. Very good. Number 8. Number 7 is Man of Steel. Now I know people are like, wait a minute. You pick all the ECUs. You pick Man of Steel. Yeah, because I really like this film. From the action to I will find him. I really enjoy the film. I really think this is one of the best, if not the best, of the... Shazam is good. Shazam! And so is Aquaman. But to this day, I still enjoy this one. Number 7. Number 6, Ready Player One. First time in a while that a Spielberg film. I've always been a Spielberg fan. And for him to come back and direct a film after so long, this is... I think he did so great. But, this was a very good film. Very good character. It likes commentary on the video game. The state of video games that we have now, where video games everywhere, and, eventually it might come to that, but very good. Number 5 is Deadpool. Like I said, I can only pick one from each franchise for this. Deadpool is the one that I could have picked Days of Future Past. I could have picked First Class, which should have been, and I could have picked Logan. But I get the most enjoyment out of. If I want to have a good time, pop this baby in. Number 4 is Fast 5. Now, I had Furious 7 in my honorable mentions. Really, all of the Fast and Furious movies could be in honorable mentions. But Fast 5 is the one that, to this day, say is where the franchise peaked. And ever since then, it's kind of been going steadily down. And, if Hobbs and Shaw is any show, I really enjoyed Hobbs and Shaw. I watched it with my son as well. He enjoyed it. So, they're not showing any signs of slowing down, even though we got 2 more of the main films left. They're going to do spin-offs, and they got this Netflix animated series coming out called Spy Racers. But, yeah, Fast 5, number 4. Number 3 is The Town. This is a very good film. It's directed by Ben Affleck. It's got Ben Affleck, Jeremy Renner, John Hamm, Blake Lively, Titus Welliver, Pete Postlethwaite before his passing, Chris Cooper, Rebecca Hall. Very good cast and a very good drama type film. It's not for everyone because of the stuff that they do, Rob Banks and how they treat people, but it is a very, very, very good film. And I'm surprised no one, I don't know, hear many people talk about this movie. It's a very good movie. Number 3. Number 2 is Bohemian Rhapsody. Came out last year. Really enjoyed it. I always liked the band Queen. So when this came out, I kind of wanted to see it, but I was like, no. And I should have, because Avengers Infinity War was my top movie from last year. And once I finally saw this, and I didn't actually see it till the beginning of this year, this became number 1. Very good film, very good, bio flick. Of course, they mix some things around. Everything happened the way they say it happened, but it's a movie. You gotta, give and take with that sort of thing. Very good movie. Number 2. Number 1 is an MCU movie. If you've been waiting for that, it's an MCU movie. And to this day, still my favorite MCU movie. Even though they got Infinity Wars and Endgames and Civil Wars and everything coming out. This one still stands the test of time as my favorite. My son and I watched part of it the other night. We didn't finish it, but Captain America Civil War. Absolutely enjoy this film. A very well storied film. Like the story tells itself, basically, What would Captain America do now that he's in our time? What can he do? Keep fighting. And he does. Especially when he finds out that his greatest enemy, Hydra, still exists. Secretly. Which, the only reason they did that is because they wanted a good twist. And everybody knew from the comics and stuff that Bucky Barnes was going to be the Winter Soldier. So they put that twist in. I remember being iffy on it when I first saw this movie, it was just like, I don't know how I feel about that. Years later, 7 years later, it's coming in 2013, right? 7 years later, 2014, whatever. Several years later, I think that maybe it was necessary. You know, it really didn't go anywhere because they tried to add Hydra into Avengers Age of Ultron, and it just did. Guess they decided it wouldn't work, so they killed off the leader, and then Hydra slowly. I mean, it still pops up here and there, but we haven't heard anything from it since that man. So here you go. Number 1, Captain America: Civil War. So, what are your thoughts on my top 10 from 2010s? Let me know in the comments below. I'll be back later today with not only my top 10 of the year, or not top 10, my ranking of the movies I watched from this year. I'll also be doing a review I've been wanting to do for a while, and I'm hoping I don't, with all this COPPA stuff going on, hope that they allow me to review it, and that's the Aladdin remake that came out this year. I really want to talk about it. I'm going to be rewatching it here very soon, and I want to talk about it. And tomorrow, that's supposed to be my last review of the year, but tomorrow I think I'll have time. So I'm going to do one more movie tomorrow that I want to talk about. It's a horror film. Speaking of which, you may notice that when I picked my best films of the 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, horror films. That's because after the new year, I'm going to start doing the top 10s all over again from the 80s to the 2010s, but with horror films. And just kind of my top 10 horror films of the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, 2010s. Just, do that. I figured it'd be easier to separate because if I put horror films in here, half, if not all, of these would be horror films because I'm a horror fanatic. So, yeah. I'll be doing horror lists after the first of the year. So, look forward to that. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you.